this show is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. And they have something new going on this time, Deke, because we know it's the big game this weekend. Y'all know we can't say the big game. We got to go to the big game. You know the game I'm talking about this weekend, the big one with the team from LA and the team from Cincinnati. You know them two teams we talking about, right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, what DraftKings Sportsbook is doing for all of the first-time users out there, baby. If you use the promo code MOATS, like it always is, on this bet this week for the big game, 56-1 odds, okay? So you got the team from LA, you got the team from Cincinnati. Put your money down on one of them, okay? 56-1 odds. So essentially, a $5 bet will win you up to $280 in free bets. Now, this is the kicker with this, right? So to break it down for you, you put your $5 in on the LA team, right? You're like, I like the LA team. They got a kid, from Pennsylvania that I happen to like a lot. All right, we win the bet. Boom, we get that 280. From there, you take that 280, and now you can use that to bet on anything and everything you want right on DraftKings Sportsbook. So
great deal.
Stop wasting time, bro. It is a great.
Can I say this about DraftKings?
Talk about
it,
bro. Absolutely.
I really don't like betting hockey, but and one of the reasons is a lot of these betting apps don't have nice same game parlays that you can use. They won't allow it. I go to DraftKings. They have some really nice ones, and I really appreciate what they're doing with the hockey betting.
Let's get it, man. Let's get it. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to put money on the big game, get your 56-1 odds. Or if you want to put money on the ice, baby, either way, use that promo code MOATS. But, Deke, we also know that at times, some people have a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
We know at times, Deke, some people can overdo it.
With the big game coming up, I could see that happening. So many props.
It is the big
So many
game.
parlays you could be doing.
It is the big game. So with that being said, with the big game, I got to do it like this, okay? Because if you know someone, or if you happen to have a gambling problem, crisis counseling, or you might need referral services, well, Deke, I got to tell you, you got two things you got to do. First off, you need to dial 877-8-HOPE-NY, okay? For my New Yorkers out there, 877-8-HOPE-NY. But for everybody else that's not living in New York, y'all know what y'all need to call. Y'all need to call 1-800-GAMBLER. I say, you need to call 1-800-GAMBLER. Malik Willis, the other big name quarterback that was talked about at the time. You want to go first with him as well?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I liked what I saw from him, dude. Now, there's a lot of buzz surrounding him through this week, and you talk about performing. I think he did that. He made some really nice outside throws that aren't going to get picked up because I think they were called back for penalties. But on the point, on like pinpoint accuracy, like from one hash to the other, I like that. Obviously, the running ability, dude, he led his team in rushing, and
it was crazy. He
only in one quarter. Yeah, 50-something yards.
Nuts, bro.
Now maybe you could say the last one is a little inflated because it was the last play of the quarter. Yeah. They just didn't want to let him score, so he was able to run a little bit. But anyway, you saw him flash some dynamic playmaking because he went from one side of the field to the other.
I was about to say, even though that was like the chunk yards, that was also probably like one of the more impressive runs as well by him, man.
Yeah. No, I liked his game. The only bad thing I thought from him was maybe the one that he threw off of his back foot, the bomb up kind of in double coverage. But I don't know if I'm stretching on this one, too, because I like Malik Willis. He threw it in a good spot where the defender's not going to be picking it off. It was almost like the receiver had to come back for it. It corner right by the out of bounds. Ended up being a pass interference anyway. So that worked in a positive way.
And I remember he threw that because that was the whole end of the quarter, end of the half scenario where he was trying to just flip the field, if I remember correctly. Right?
Oh, was that it? Maybe that was why.
Yeah, because that was why.
That
it was on the left side of the field, right? You got the PI.
It was the left side.
Yeah. That's what it was. They were saying because the quarter was about to end and they knew they weren't going to get a possession. It was like a 4-second possession.
I didn't realize that.
They threw the deep bomb to get the penalty to flip the field, and then he had the untimed down was where he did the running thing. But yeah, that's what kept throwing me off though, because the timing of when they were saying end of the quarter, but treating it like end of half, and then switching the possession. It was weird.
Yeah,
that was so weird, bro.
Switch the possession.
Yeah, but that was definitely why he threw that, because it was like, oh, it's a 4-second possession. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, it was wacky, bro.
Okay, I didn't understand that in the moment, but you're right. Looking back on that, no, I thought he did really well. Actually, got me amped. Like, I think his stock. There's no reason that he didn't do anything negative to his stock. If anything, I think it goes up from that game.
Yeah, for me, Yeah, I ain't gonna cut you off.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, for me, man, I agree. I thought Malik definitely improved his stock, definitely helped himself out. Couple of things, man. When you talk about Malik, some of the question marks were quality of opponents, right? You played at Liberty. It wasn't like you played in the SEC or the ACC or even the Pac-12, Big Ten. So you have question marks of your athletic ability that we see on tape. Is that because of the quality that you're playing against, or are you really that guy when you're in the open field? Can you make guys miss? Do you run by guys that are NFL quality? We saw that. We got a chance to see that multiple times. You talk about that last run that he had. That was impressive because, like you said, he started up on the right side, cuts all the way across the field, and then still has burst to run by guys. You see him doing that. I also like the fact that he was very decisive when he decided to run. It wasn't a lot of, all right, let me scramble to the right, scramble to the left, scramble backwards, and then try to get out of this. It was like, man, when he decided he was going to run, he pulled that ball down and took off. And you could see the gear that he played with compared to the other guys that were out there. I mean, the speed jumped off the screen. So for me,
and he wasn't even going as fast as they were clocking him in at like 18. They said he was getting up to 20 at points.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they were saying his fastest time was 20.4. And I think Kyler Murray's fast time this past season was like 20.7. So they were like, yo, when he really goes, he's a thicker version of Kyler Murray. So I was like, man, all right. Or in terms of the running, not everything else, but just the running part of it. They say he's a thicker version of Kyler right there. So like I said, I definitely like that. I thought his athletic ability, his athleticism was on full display with some of the scrambles, some of the runs that he did. I also like this, the same way we talked about Kenny Pickett looking in control, being very mature in terms of getting guys in and out the huddle. I do like the fact that he was working the cadence early. You think about some of his snaps, man. I think the first snap he had, he gets the guy to jump off sides. Now, the more he did it, obviously it got a little bit mixy with some of the O-linemen and stuff like that. When those guys jump, it can throw you off. But as a whole, I do like the fact that he was trying to work cadence, because cadence is a weapon, especially when you saw how some of those D-linemen, man, they were starting to have their way with them tackles. They were starting to get after those guys a little bit. You could see the discrepancy. It was like, whoa. Wait a minute.
We sure we want to draft linemen?
Yeah, I was like, yo, I don't know about these tackles right now. This is not looking good. But cadence can take some of that off. Cadence makes you as a rusher. I can't just say as soon as he says go, I'm hauling tail. I have to wait. I have to react. And that can give that tackle a split second an advantage, right? So I like the fact that he was working that. Some of the other things that I did that I also like was that he showed more snaps under center. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of those quarterbacks did. Most of these guys operated exclusively out the gun, because they were in that air raid type offense where they're going to just spread it out, you know, and get to work. But to see him have to be under center a lot more, it was good to see some of the play action stuff. It was good to see his mobility within the pocket, his understanding of how to climb in the pocket as well. I will say, though, a couple of his red flags have showed up in this game, and it's stuff that's on tape, but it's fixable. When you talk about some of the inconsistency throwing the ball with his footwork, you think about the out that he missed. It wasn't that he didn't have the arm or anything like that, but you look at his footwork, his feet weren't set the right way. For Malik, when you watch him on Liberty, you watch his tape from Liberty, some of the throws that he misses is because his footwork is out of whack. But like we talked about, one of the reasons why I don't feel as bad about it is because with Mike Sullivan here and what he was able to do with Dwayne Haskins and his footwork, based on Washington tape versus this preseason, I could personally see a big improvement in terms of just how collected and how just more fundamentally sound he was. So for Malik, that showed up again, sure, but he can improve that. He also held the ball too long at times as well. It's one of the things that makes him a good quarterback, is because he's able to extend plays, he's able to use his legs and get him out of trouble, but it also got him sacked. Yeah. It also cost him a couple of times where he ended up having to scramble. But it's like, man, if you just hit that first window, if you just wait and you see this right here, you can hit that, and it's a way better situation for you. Those are some of the things with Malik that he still has to improve upon, still has to work on. But as a whole, I thought that he did look really good out there. Like I said, man, with him, he's one of those guys, because of that athletic, that dynamic for him, it just makes him so much more intriguing to me because of that part.
It's what we don't have on the roster.
You're
right now.
We don't.
And I think, now I don't know how you feel about if we draft him, starting him right away. Mm-hmm. You know, I'd be all gun-ho for that. Yeah. But I do think the athletic ability and the running could help us get away from games as his passing develops, as his footwork develops. Because you're telling me he's putting up 90, 100 on the ground. With what he even has right now, I think he's got a good arm and can make all these throws. It's just some of the stuff that you talked about he needs to clean up. I think we could win with that.
for a fact we could win with that. And like I said, that's why you're starting to hear more people try to point him to the Steelers. They're trying to link that together right there.
I'm getting worried,
I understand
though.
it, man.
I think he's going to go in the top 15, top 10.
Well, depending on the mocks. I mean, I've seen mocks where they've had 3 quarterbacks go before they get to us. Because when you talk about some of the quarterback needy teams, Washington, Denver, Carolina, that's 3 off the top of our head. Not even counting if anyone tries to trade up in there. The Giants, they're another team.
People are talking about us trading up with the Jets. Jets at 10?
Yeah,
I think they're at 10.
Yeah, because Washington's at 11, if I remember correctly.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So it's like, man, I can see a scenario where we
give
might
up.
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know.
What did we give up for Bush? We didn't give up another first rounder.
I don't think we did. No, I don't remember the exact package though for Devin. I just remember the move, but I don't remember the package though.
Damn.
But that is something that it's like, man, with Malik, and honestly, this is the part that hurts us with Malik. It doesn't hurt us with Kenny because Kenny we've already viewed as he was going to be the best prospect, or he was the best prospect going into the Senior Bowl. So you knew he was going to be going earlier. With Malik, though, it was like, well, hey, if you can't get a Kenny, well, hey, Malik is available to you. He'll be back there. But the better Malik, with Malik playing the way that he did in the Senior Bowl throughout the weekend of the game, you know he's going to kill the combine in pro day. In terms of, hey, you're throwing off of a script and I need you to go run. You're going to have the fastest time when you run. We know that. You're going to wow the people athletically.
He'll give a Zach Wilson throw or something.
Exactly. So for me, I'm like, man, this is the part that kind of hurts us because that's going to continue to make his stock go up. But for me, man, I just think that, dude, he might be worth looking into if we're talking about having to trade up. I could see it.
If we kill free agency and we got most of our spots locked up, I'm for it. Yeah, I'm in on Willis, and if we do pick it, I like it because Pitt guy story and all that. But those are the 2. That's really it. I don't know if I really want to draft anyone else.
Yeah, for me, man, I'll probably lean Willis first just because
that's
the
how
athletic
I'm leaning
element.
Too, actually.
But I don't hate it if Kenny is there and we get him because I still think Kenny can come in and do some things. The more I watch him, the better I feel about him. I think that he's one of those guys that I get why people try to keep saying, well, he's just older. That's why he was better. But it's like, no, man, he's fundamentally sound. You watch him, he looks mature. Now, part of that is the age. But at the same time, I don't care how old you are. You still got to display it. You still got to execute it. You still have to be a productive player. And when you cut the tape on with Kenny, that is there. The fundamentals are why he's productive, not because he's an older quarterback. It's just, no, he's a fundamentally sound guy. And with fundamentals, it guarantees your floor will never be bad. It guarantees your floor is never going to be JV. And as long as you got that, man, we can get the rest of it to develop more. So I'm good if either one of those guys were available to us and we decided to go that route. I don't hate either one of that.
We're on the same page then.
No.
That's how I'm thinking too.
Yeah, I'm surprised you went Malik first though, because I know you got the Pitt connection. For me, Malik, man, it just jumps off the screen. Like,
I think maybe part of it too is Canada being around.
Fair enough, yeah.
I think definitely maybe that's a little bit part of it, and also him bringing that dynamic that we don't have currently on the roster with Mason and Haskins. Maybe something different to bring to the table. Whereas with Pickett, I think we're getting a little bit more of the same. Mm-hmm. But there's a reason he's going to be going in the first round. Like, Pickett's good.
Yeah. No, he definitely is, bro. He definitely is.
I know I might be biased with him being at Pitt and stuff, but I mean, it'd be a really cool story. So
well, and I think another thing is this too. When we talk about this quarterback class, we say it doesn't have your clear-cut alpha guy. This is the guy that everybody has to get. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad class. And I think that people don't understand.
And you don't know what it's going to be three or 4 years down the line. Because right now, let's be honest, last year's class sucks up to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that this class is still good. They have good, like these quarterbacks we're talking about, they're all good in some capacity. It's just we don't necessarily know of any of them because they all have some type of flaw with them. It's like, man, I can see this guy being a good quarterback, but can he be a franchise quarterback? I don't know. He's missing this part. Well, can he develop it? Well, that's what we got to see. Whether you're talking Kenny, whether you're talking Malik, whether you're talking Desmond Ridder, whether you're talking Carson Strong, Bailey Zappi, Sam Howell, all these guys are good in some fashion, but they all have question marks. But I am glad that we're on the same page, though. Like I said, with the quarterback, this is rare that we're on the same page with quarterbacks. It makes me nervous.
Are you with me then? It's those two. I don't know if I really want to draft anyone else.
For me right now,
especially in the first round.
Because that's the context I'm speaking of, first round. Like when we talk second and third round, I think it changes. But first round, I'm with you as I stand today. Was it February 7th? If it's not Pickett or Malik, I personally don't want to draft any of the other quarterbacks in the first round. Emphasis on first round, all right? But with that being said, we'll talk about some more prospects, though, because I think that part is different. Like if we're saying second or third round, it's night and day. But that first round, because of how much, the players that are available to you, when you miss on a first round pick, it just hits a little harder because you start to look around like, well, there's a lot of talented guys right here that we could have hit on.
Inside linebacker could have been a staple center that we took instead.
Yeah, so that changes stuff when you miss on first rounders.
And if you're telling me the quarterback we're drafting might not play this year, might be sitting a little, I don't want to do that because I think we could have a decent team this year. I really do.
No, absolutely, man. All right, but we did get Q. Q responded in terms of, we asked about the Devin Bush. We were saying we didn't know the package for the deal.
He got it for us.
Yeah, nice. He said we gave up a first, second, and third round pick for Devin Bush. The first and second were for that particular year. And the third, I don't know what year that was for. That might have been the following year.
Might have been the following.
Yeah, but that makes sense
we probably had
Devin was the
pick
first round pick. Yeah, I'm trying to think. And
that's not terrible then.
Yeah,
it's basically for us. Are we getting any of these third round comp picks?
Matt Filer potentially, Bud Dupree, Mike Hilton. I'm trying to think who we brought in. Ingram didn't have a deal like that.
Just be giving up a second round pick.
Yeah, because I was saying Ingram's deal wasn't crazy. Trey Turner's deal wasn't crazy in terms of like money. Because usually I think Filer's deal was probably the cheapest, and he was a 3 for $20.
He got 7.
Yeah,
I think him and Houghton got around 7. Yeah. Bud got a big contract.
Yeah, so we should at least have some type of comps coming in. So